have two gentlemen on the line, Mr. Safraz Ali, the fishing representative on the ASTT board, and Imtiaz Khan, who's the president of the Carli Bay Fishermans Association. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to have you on. Let me start. Sorry. Let me start with Mr. Khan, Imtiaz. The disturbing video that has been going around, of course, of these fishermen being beaten. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that one or several of the men have been freed. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I haven't been following this story closely, Mikee K, because for me, following stories like this, it'll be very heart-wrenching, because deja vu all over again, because I've been through some, in my little area, 9 piracy, and 7 in 2019 and 2 in 2021. So looking at this video, I feel for the family, because when I saw these families and I interacted with these families, up to now, the loss and the pain, I could only imagine what those families are going through currently.
Yeah, but give us an idea. I mean, because, we have the Honorable Prime Minister making it quite clear that if it is that you're involved in anything like shady activities, the government is not going to be drawn into anything like that. But give us an idea, because, I mean, for the last 9.5 years, when you listen to the stories of what went on in the whole fishing industry, it really and truly didn't show that there were the resources, there were the means, there were programs, whatever they needed to assist the fisher folk at that time. Now, of course, we see what's going on with the U.S. and Venezuela, and the fact that many of the fishermen are being warned not to go too far, not to go into certain territory. I mean, what are we looking at here? And why is it that we have so much being said that people are out there not based on fishing, but for other activities?
Because Mikee K, we have been lacking enforcement. We have laws that govern this industry. A simple thing. Lawyers, a fishing vessel ought to carry 150 horsepower, right? Which is 275 engine in case one breaks down. That in law, not more than that. So quite easily we can identify who fish and who, and then again, the gear in the boat, the vessels. Because when that incident happened with the fisher folks in 2019, Stuart Young was the National Security Minister at the time, and he said they're not fishing. So I had to tell Mr. Young, go to the Orange Valley Market and you will see the records will show they fish, and they fish daily. And it's so very sad, because, our fundamental human right is life, liberty, and security, right? Security on land, security at sea. Who's supposed to provide the security? The people who are not doing it. And we've been under siege, the fishing industry and the fisher folks have been under siege for quite a while. And nothing's changed. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we heard from the family members have spoken out and said that, over the years, nothing basically has done as far to assist them when it is that their loved ones have been kidnapped by Venezuelan pirates, as the case may be. Now, again, we don't want to get involved into an issue where people may be claiming that they're doing one thing out there, and in fact they're doing something else. And I know that if it is that you're trying to ply your trade and there's some challenges and what have you, there are people who would look at alternative options to get the money that they need to get for their families and to live and to survive. Again, why is this not being made a priority? I mean, now we're hearing from the current Agriculture Minister, Mr. Ravi Ratiram. He has been pleading for years, while of course in opposition, talking about fuel, talking about the high price of goods, and the fact that fisher folks were not being dealt with properly and made a priority. Taking all of that in consideration, what needs to be fixed? Sorry.
Mikey, I still work with some recommendations we had that we took to the former Prime Minister in 2019, where when this fisherman was killed, they had high-powered meeting in Orange Valley, where recommendation was made to the Minister of National Security and and the Prime Minister then as the head of the National Security Council. And, you know, since then, we a simple thing, we were promised 14 interceptors at the cost of $6 million to refurbish in 2025. Nothing happened. We get big vessels. The fisher folks don't see the vessels. So in terms of, we had some simple solution, Mikee K. And, you know, I hope with this new administration that they talk to us and they take us seriously and some changes are made, because we're so close to the Venezuelan on the south coast, right? Sometimes they come into our waters and interfere with our fisher folks. That's the reality. But nothing is done. So all the families just had to continue pleading and begging. So how do we identify our waters and the Venezuelan waters on the south coast? Are there markers? Are there any buoys? Are there any maritime markers for the fisher folks to know? No.
Yeah.
No.
Let me.
So the fisher,
Hold on.
yeah,
Let me bring in Safraz Ali here. Mr. Ali, you've been listening, of course, getting an idea of what we're talking about. It's been happening for quite some time. This is not something that just simply started overnight. It's been happening for a while. Where are we going with this?
First of all, like, yeah, I would like to say this, right, and I concur with Brother Imtiaz there. Before, the fishermen outside there, especially the southern fishermen, and the western fishermen, when I say western, the southern western fishermen, they were exposed to the vagaries of piracy on the sea and so on. And no matter what, even the former MP / Shadow Minister of Agriculture in those days was pleading that the Coast Guard step up and asking for better protection for our waters and the fishermen and so on. And time and time again, you hear horror stories of piracy, Venezuelan, or I should say Spanish-speaking pirates boarding our fishermen, throwing them off the boat, taking the engine, doing all kind of thing. Now we're seeing this kidnapping thing happening with fishermen, alleged fishermen up in the Venezuelan mainland there. What we are saying is this, Mikey, is that since the U.S. intervened and brought in these ships and started target the narco terrorists, right, the narco traffickers and gun runners and so on, what we are seeing is a marked decrease in piracy that's affecting our fishermen. So that's a positive step. A positive step in that our fishermen are being less exposed now to pirates, because the pirates thinking twice to come in the Gulf and ply their trade. And while plying their trade, they see a fisherman, a trainee fisherman boat, and they say, we could take that engine, we could take them what they have and throw them overboard. So since the U.S. intervened, we are seeing a less amount of that happening, which is a good thing for our fishermen. And fishermen has noted that also. And by and large, fishermen has been complying, most fishermen have been complying with the directives not to go too far out on the southern side. As Imtiaz told me, the eastern and the northern side, you have up to 200 nautical miles on the east coast and the north coast you can go and fish. So it's not to say that there's no options available to the fishermen. The fishermen have the options of going to a different direction further if they need to go. Otherwise, on the southern side, they need to stay within the zone, as Imtiaz said, within the zone to fish closer to the shores of Trinidad and in the Gulf of Paria also. So the options are there, and we're seeing positive things happening in terms of the narco traffickers being reduced and so on. So that's my take so far.
Yeah, but let me ask you, when you talk about that zone, of course, this is something that was discussed with the fishermen as far as knowing exactly the exact locations, where to go, where not to go, don't go too far, and what have you. Because the reason why I'm asking you this, because I'm certain that people who are locked on, people who are listening and watching, is saying, listen, once you go beyond what you were warned, then it means that you would have another agenda. You would have some ulterior motive, some hidden agenda to go beyond that point, and that's where questions need to be asked.
And you're correct too, Big Mikey, because you have to be living under a rock, or probably you didn't have no communication device in your village where you're living to not to know that there is an issue, there is some tensions building up on the Venezuelan side where they're leveling threats at us. Up to yesterday, we heard the Venezuelan president saying something negative about the U.S. having military military practice with our military, and Maduro is dead against that. Which, by the way, is my personal opinion, now, not the ASTT. I think Maduro is out of place because we don't tell him who he can link up with and which military come in by him. So why must he try to intervene and tell us who we can associate with? That is madness. We are a sovereign country, and our Prime Minister and our government is well within their rights to associate with whichever government they wish to. So Maduro can't dictate our pace, in other words. But my point being this, and you're correct, Mikey, that there is a tension between Venezuela, mainly on the Venezuelan side, directing to us. And therefore, as fishermen on the southern side, you have to have a little more sense in how you conduct your business. You can't play vanguard and hero and try to go further that you used to normally go out and encroach, because you tend now to see what's happening here now with those fishermen being allegedly kidnapped by the Venezuelans.
Well, let me ask you, sorry, Mr. Imtiaz Khan. Now, taking all of this into consideration, now the activities of some can really and truly taint whatever image that the rest of the law-abiding fisher folk would want to be engaged in. I mean, when you hear about some of these illegal activities coming from people that you may or may not know, but they fall under the whole banner of fishing, what do you do?
Well, Mikey, as I said, we had simple things that was in place.
Sure.
That in terms of the fisheries division, the former government, they sent over a set of people. So the fishery division is really understaffed. We have 65 landing sites in this country. We had what they call data collectors around that will normally go on different sites and take the information in terms of when a boat go out to fish, how much fish you catch. A simple thing like that will let you know which vessels are the active vessels and are honestly fishing. A simple thing like that. Then again, based on horsepower on our laws and the fishing gear. Some simple thing. But if there's no enforcement, if you go out there and you could run across borders freely, you have no coast guard to intercept you. When you come on the landing site, you could change landing site without answering to anyone. And these sort of things continue happening. How it is you're going to deal with situation like this? Because it's a simple thing. If I do something San Fernando, I can pull up Carli Bay and nobody know nothing what happened in San Fernando. So, and you have no checks and balances. None, absolutely none. So simple things could be put in place that could identify who fishing and who not. Because simple, at the landing site, we have fisheries officers that visit different landing sites every month in the areas, so they can tell you which vessel is be on land most of the time, which vessel there's be on the ocean, which vessel fishing, which not fishing. And then at Orange Valley, when you go to where the scale, you have the data that is be collected by the scale that will have your information. Because Orange Valley is the market we use in the western side here. Brickfield, Carli Bay, Orange Valley, Classroom, that is the market we use to retail our fish, or to sell our fish, wholesale it. So it have things, but if nobody not paying, taking, nobody not paying attention to what's happening, anything goes mighty.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing about it. We no longer want anything to go, because anything going could be anything coming. And we have to have better control as far as that goes. I mean, listening to Senator Roberts earlier saying that, listen, this is basically the method that should have been there to begin with, to ensure that when these boats come into our territory, or to make sure that anybody trying to bring anything that is illegal into our waters, that they be basically blasted out of the water?
Yep, because look, simple things. For the recommendation top of my head, radar, a functioning radar will let you know exactly what coming into your waters. Who coming, what coming, so you can intercept. If you don't have radars, right? We wanted a direct hotline to the Coast Guard. We wanted Coast Guard base around the country, east, west, north, south, right? And when we met with Mr. Hines in June, they said they was putting one central because of the closeness between us and Venezuela is 7 miles of water between us, right? And that never happened. It never happened. So we continue to talk. We continue to spend money on all these big vessels, right? That can't do the job where the fishermen fish inside here because they can't come in the shallow. And Don Polo was in the meeting on the 14th of June 2021 when he told me that we had the riverine unit that was launched. With the riverine, nobody see no riverine boat.
Yeah. Gentlemen, closing comments, go right ahead.
Well, for me, personally, I would really like to meet with the Minister of set up a meeting. Safraz and I was talking with the Minister of Agriculture, Homeland Security, Defense, and with the commissioner, because this can be dealt with simply, you know. And with the American here, I hope before they leave international waters and they could assist our Coast Guard and our military personnel or defense force in how to secure borders, because Mr. Hines was interviewed, and in the interview he said there are 240-something illegal ports of entry in this country. So our Coast Guard personnel was in Carli Bay. So when I told him, the minister said, "Man, watch my laugh." So I said, "Your smile telling me it have more." So which means we have to be vigilant in securing our borders so our citizens can enjoy our fundamental rights of life, liberty, and security. That's my closing remark for now.
Mr. Ali?
Yeah, Mikey, and I want to endorse what Brother Imtiaz said there. He's a subject matter expert, having been a fisherman himself, still a fisherman, and he represents a great body of fishermen on the Carli Bay side. What I would like to see happening is this, as he said, let's do this meeting with the various ministers in terms of charting a way forward. I know that the government is working very hard behind the scenes to secure our borders, and we're seeing it happening with the pirates and the drug traffickers being targeted. I know that is happening. Fishermen are a little more safe now. However, moving forward, we need to have a little more information concerning matters like what Imtiaz stated there in terms of the piracy, the encroachment. If you have Venezuelan boats coming in our waters, what do we do? That kind of thing. So yes, but I have confidence. I have confidence that this government is doing things to secure our borders, and at the end of everything, it will be better for the fishermen and the citizens because we have a safer, more secure environment to apply to the fishermen, to apply their trade and all those associated with the marine aspect of the industry.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out to link with us here this evening, this Sunday evening. Thank you so much, and we will be checking in on this issue as time go along.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much.
The Observer.